This one right here is the new Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 6, and today we will do a full tour of this smartphone, and let's start with the unboxing. Now, unboxing Samsung smartphones is not super interesting as you only get the basics. So of course you will find the Z Flip in here, and in addition you will get a USB Type-C cable and a quick starting guide, and that's it. No extra case or charging brick. But if you do want to get a flip case, this one is actually a two-part case. One for the lower and one for the upper part of the smartphone, and you just have to clip them on. But they are very expensive and they will cost you right around 45 euros over here in Germany. Alright, let's check out the specs and the design, and let's start with the backside of the smartphone, as you get a super large 3.4-inch touch display, which doesn't have a 100% square shape, since you get a little dent on the bottom right corner, because right here you have your dual camera setup. Now, it's a 50 megapixel main camera with optical image stabilization and a 12 megapixel ultra wide shooter, but more to that later on in the video. Now, you have to know that you will get a huge smartphone if this one is unfolded. Like this, you will have a 165mm large smartphone with a 6.7-inch display. Now, just to put things into perspective, this thing is as large, or maybe just a little bit longer, as my iPhone 15 Pro Max. Now, as for the build quality, it's actually pretty sturdy, even though it only weighs in at 187 grams, which is nothing for a smartphone that size. You have an aluminum frame, plastic front if it's unfolded, and Gorilla Glass Victus 2 on your backside. This phone is also IP48 water resistant, and what I really like is that if you fold your smartphone, you will get the Samsung logo right in the middle of the upper and the lower part. Now, by the way, you have to know that there are dozens of color options for the smartphone. Now, I took the peach version, but you can also get it in the colors of white, black, silver. There's a mint version, yellow and blue. But some of these colors are only available on the official Samsung website, including my peach version. Now, enough of the specs, and let's get over to the display and the audio. Now, like I said, you have a super large 6.7-inch dynamic LTPO AMOLED 2X display, and colors right here are crisp with a 2640 by 1080p resolution. This phone also gets super bright with a peak brightness of 2600 nits in auto mode, and like this you will definitely have no problems watching your favorite animes out in the sun. Now, as I said, you have an LTPO display, which you can expect to get at the price point with a 120Hz display. Now, there is a small tip that I can give you regarding the selfie camera. By default, you will only see that little black point while you're watching your movies and stuff, but you can actually also hide that selfie camera with a small black bar. You will find that in your display settings, and right here you can click on camera cutout, and then you will be able to enable it for some different apps, even though I have to say that you will still kind of see the selfie camera, even with the camera cutout, but it makes it look a little bit better at least. Now the interesting part, and that's your backside. Now, the lower part of your smartphone has that matte touch to it, which is great to not see all of your fingerprints all of the time. And on the upper side, you will get your 3.4-inch Super AMOLED display protected by Gorilla Glass Victus 2, and this one has a peak brightness of 1600 nits, which is fairly bright. Now, on the display, you can do all kinds of things, starting with your messages. You can not only see all of your messages right here, but you can also reply to those with a mini keyboard. From over here, you can also access your quick panel, and if you swipe left and right, you can scroll through your different apps. Like, you can have Spotify right here, your calendar, stocks, or maybe just the weather and some of your photos. Also, if you long press on the home screen, you get to choose another wallpaper like the fresh looking dark or this party celebration style. So there are quite a few to choose from. As for your stereo speaker setup, now this one is actually quite loud. I mean, it's certainly loud enough to listen to some music or watch some movies while you're in the kitchen cooking, and it's certainly louder than my cats meowing in the morning for food. Next up, the battery life. The Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 6 has a rather small 4000 mAh battery, which is smaller than the usual battery we see on Samsung smartphones. On normal usage, you can expect to get around 4 to 5 hours of screen time with moderate usage, which means I was watching some of the Twitch streams, took some pictures and videos, and played a little bit of Genshin Impact. Also, the charging speed isn't the best, with just 25 watts wired charging, 15 watts wireless, and 4.5 watts reverse wireless charging. So certainly not the best when it comes to the battery life and the charging speed. Alright, now let's talk a little bit about the features. Now, this phone is packed with AI features. Just to give you a quick overview, there is a call assist with a real-time translation during your voice calls. You get a chat assist and interpreter. There's a photo, drawing, and browsing assist. you have an health assist and a photo ambient wallpaper, which uses AI to change your own photo based on the time and the weather. Then, like always, you can expect to get all of the standard Samsung apps which are pre-installed on here, like you have the Samsung Shop, Wearable app, Samsung Wallet and Internet. You also have some more standard features, like you can double tap the screen to turn it off and to turn it back on, or you can just mute incoming calls and alerts by putting your hands over the screen. Now this phone has a one-handed mode, you get some multi-window action and a flex mode panel, which is turned on by default. Like this, you can have one app open on the upper part of your smartphone and have some additional controls on the lower part of your phone. Of course, this phone also has an awesome display mode, but one thing I really don't like about this phone is the fingerprint sensor. It always takes like 2 or 3 tries until the fingerprint sensor recognizes my finger. But at least we have a face detection and this works a lot better. So over here in Germany, this phone is only available with 256 gigs of internal storage, of which 18 gigs are already used up by the system, which is more or less normal. Let's get to the gaming and the performance. First, you have to know that playing games on this big screen is pretty cool. The bezels around the display are not too chunky, and through your Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 with 12 gigs of RAM, your games will run very smooth with no lags. You can have some big fights on Genshin Impact, and the smartphone has no problems with it. So I said you can play Genshin Impact, but you can also play other games like PUBG, some racing games, and other more demanding games, and you will still have a consistent frame rate. The Z Flip 6 also has a game booster, so you can switch between performance mode, the standard mode, and power saving mode. You can open up floating windows during your gaming sessions, take screenshots, and screen record. Basically everything that I would expect to get with a game booster. Finally, over to the camera. Now we have a 50 megapixel main camera with optical image stabilization. There's a 12 megapixel ultra wide and a 10 megapixel selfie camera. And the cool thing is that all of these cameras can record videos with 4K resolution and 60 frames per second. So taking videos on this camera is actually very good. Now this phone also has a few camera modes, starting with the normal portrait mode. You get a pro mode for photos and videos, expert raw, night mode, panorama, portrait video, and even more. As for your pictures, I guess you can certainly live with the results. As long as you have good lighting, you will get some crisp and colorful pictures with your selfie and your main camera. On your portrait shots, you have a nice background blur and a sharp image in the front, just like it should be, and then you can even zoom in and out a little bit, which is not available on every smartphone. Overall, this phone has a max zoom of 10x, but I tried shooting some pictures like this and they are not the best. I mean, better than most other smartphones, but if you want to have a sharp picture, you should rather stick to the 2 to 5x zoom. I also couldn't really see a difference in the colors when comparing the ultra wide and the normal camera. In my opinion, both work perfectly fine and take great and sharp pictures. My only complaint is that pictures turn out not to be the best if you have a more ambient lighting or if your objects are moving a little bit faster, like my kitty cats. But besides that, everything is pretty good on this phone. And guys, there we have it. That's the Samsung Z Flip 6 smartphone. If you liked that video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more tech reviews. And I guess with that one being said, I will see you in the next one. Peace.